Hey guys, I'm back once again with another Penetrol Test Pour. In this series, I'm testing out various acrylic pouring methods using Penetrol as the cell activator. For this experiment, I'm doing a triple cup flip with the leftovers from the first two test runs. This canvas has my favorite results so far, so follow along if you want to see how it was made. If you're interested in seeing how I mix these paints, check out one or both of the first two videos of this series. As a quick rundown though, I have all of my acrylic paints mixed with Floetrol. For these first three experiments, each color has 2 drops of Penetrol stirred in. I'm not really sure how big of a difference it actually makes, but I am using a mini pipette for these drops. I don't think that the drop amount is hugely different between the normal sized and mini pipette, but just so you guys are aware, that's what I'm using in these tests. I'm going to leave the color list to the side in case you need a reminder about what I have mixed up. If you saw the fluorescent and glow-in-the-dark experiment, you'll know that I was also using signal red. I didn't want to risk it taking over again in this pour, so I switched it out for some interference green that I had sitting around. With these mixes, I went ahead and thinned the colors from the first pour to the same thinner consistency as the fluorescent colors. The paints are thin enough that they start sinking into each other when I combine them. From there, I split the leftover paints into 3 separate cups. Here, you can switch up the order of the paints to whatever suits you. You can also test out layering the colors differently in each cup to see how that changes up the layering on the canvas. Flip cups can be influenced in several different ways. If you're into playing with the varying weights of paint, experiment with the location of the heavier paints in your cup. So, titanium white is a notoriously heavy pigment. If you put it at the bottom of your cup when layering, after the flip, that will be the top color. The weight of the white will push the other paints as it settles, creating more cells. If you put the layer of white at the top of the cup, bottom when flipped, you won't get its extra weight pushing down on the other paints, and it will act more as a base than an added color. All of that to say, the order you layer your paints will have an effect on the final results. You can get really technical and layer by weight and transparency if you want to be fancy. If you just want to get the paint on the canvas, then just throw it all in there and see what you get. If you ever end up with a pour that you don't really care for, you can always paint over it again. If you have one that you just instantly don't like, you can scrape the paint off the canvas and immediately start over. As long as it hasn't started to dry, you can wipe it right off. Though I probably should add, if you are using silicone oil, you may want to wipe the canvas down really well before you start pouring again. Silicone that has gotten onto the canvas itself can push the paints away, leaving an empty spot. So just take care if you go this route. Most of us have had at least one pour that was absolutely amazing when wet, but something went off during the drying stage. I personally have a whole closet full of failed pours. Either the paint cracks or the canvas wasn't even. About 1 billion things can go haywire during the drying process. If that happens, set it off to the side and let it cure completely for about a month, or, until you remember it again. Then it's good to paint over. Make sure you give it enough time to cure though. If you don't wait long enough, you risk reactivating the paint on the canvas with the new paint, and this will affect your final results. You can pour directly onto the old canvas, or you can give it a quick coat of gesso if you want to try and even it out. If you're pouring directly onto the used canvas, remember that any transparent colors that you're using in the new pour can end up thin enough for the background to show through. I like reusing canvases when I'm using an opaque base that completely covers the old pour. That way I don't have to worry quite as much about it peeking through. For this flip cup, I took the chance and tossed them without a barrier. About 30 seconds after the flip, I poke a hole in each cup with a push pin. This releases some of the pressure in the cup, so it starts to glide and dance around. To be honest, I wasn't 100% certain this was going to be enough paint to completely cover the canvas. I chose this pre-painted signboard just in case it didn't stretch all the way. Since this was my last pour for that day, I just felt too lazy to mix up more paint for a base, so I just went for it. I got pretty lucky. Even though it took several spins to get there, I did manage to coat the entire board, so I was pleasantly surprised. Since the paint was spread so thin and it was on a black background, the colors did dry much darker than they appear when wet. Putting a varnish on it will bring them back a little, but I believe that this one's going to get a resin coat. The resin will make the shimmery bits pop a little more. I really love it under the regular light. Where it really shines, though, is under the UV light. The glow on it came out spectacular. Not all of the colors had glow-in-the-dark or fluorescent elements mixed in, but under the UV light, the entire painting shines. Make sure you stick around for the close-ups at the end so you don't miss it. Well, guys, we're 3 tests in at this point. What do you think of the Penetrol as a cell activator so far? I'm really enjoying the results that I'm getting. It hasn't been anything too crazy yet, but in my opinion, they've all turned out beautifully. To me, it seems that the most extreme reaction that I've had was in the very first test that I ran a little over a month ago. In those tests, I did use a much higher ratio of Penetrol than I have been in these. I haven't tested out a swipe with the lower concentrations of Penetrol yet, but that's on my list of experiments to share with you all as well. Since swipes are my favorite, I know you guys are probably getting a little bored of them. I wanted to mix it up a little bit with some different pouring methods before going back to old trusty. If any of you have any particular pouring method that you would like for me to test out during these experiments, go ahead and leave me a comment below. I would love to test out some of your suggestions. In the next video, I have another flip cup. This time I'm going extremely thin with the paints and increasing to 3 drops of Penetrol per color. I was weirdly uncomfortable with how thin I went with the mix, but the results were worth it. I don't typically use a lot of thinner mixed paints because of the pouring methods that I use, so it was a little strange working with them. Coming up, I'll also have an open cup pour and what we'll call a janky kiss pour. Realistically, I had the paints too thick for what I was attempting to do, but the end results came out amazingly awesome. Well, that's going to be it from me this time. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the pour. Don't forget to check out the UV light close-ups at the end. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!